What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel, check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on Wembanyama and like what he just did to OKC, man, was just crazy. He just went off on him, right? And I'm not surprised that he went off on him like that. And most people were not. The Spurs have beaten OKC, I think like the last 5 out of 6 times, something like that, right? I think it's 5 out of 6 at least, right? So it's not a surprise. Even though they came in as an underdog in this series, people still not surprised at the way he went off. But the big picture about this thing is Wembanyama is just raising the bar in the NBA. Like the rest of this league are going to have to do something to adjust to this guy, or he's going to dominate for at least the next decade. And if they don't, like I don't see, because right now, even with the OKC Thunder, there's nobody on this OKC Thunder that is going to be able to stop, to stop him. And that's just plain and simple. I watched, Chet Holmgren came over to help out on one play, and he just put his shoulder into Chet Holmgren and just pushed him back. Now, Chet Holmgren is 7'1", Wemby is 7'5", right? And I think Wemby probably weigh a little bit more. Probably weigh a little bit more than Chet Holmgren, but Chet Holmgren he a slightly built guy too, right? And so Wemby just went right through his chest. So it's going to be hard for Chet Holmgren to deal with this guy. And like I said, the rest of the NBA, if they want to be able to compete with this guy for the next decade to come, they're going to have to bring back that power forward position, right? Because if you think about basketball back in the day, back like from Kareem and all those guys, those big centers back in the day, all of the big centers had to go up against other big centers, and they had to go up against power forwards. I remember that Michael Jordan, when they played against the New York Knicks, they had to go out and get Bill Cartwright because Patrick Ewing was dominating them down in the paint. And they needed somebody to push Patrick Ewing off of his spot in order for, to make it harder for Patrick Ewing. So they went out and got Bill Cartwright. And Bill Cartwright was able to defend him. That's their sole reason for bringing in Bill Cartwright. Even Kareem, he had to go up against like guys like Artis Gilmore, Bob Lanier, and it was this other big guy name. I think it was Gus Johnson or something. And when you look at these guys, they were all bigger, wider than Kareem, right? So they made it tough for Kareem they didn't stop Kareem, but Kareem wasn't able to do what Victor Wembanyama just did and what he's doing to a lot of teams around the league, right? So teams are going to have to make that adjustment. And Victor Wembanyama, like I said, because he's raising the bar, he wants to be the MVP. He wants to be the best player in the league. So he got his mindset on dominating, right? And I was listening to the guy, what's the guy named Scat? And Scat was talking about, he mentioned a little bit about this and like the history of the game. And so what I want to do is I want to play some of the audio of what Scat had to say about Victor Wembanyama and his performance. And then I want to come back and add some more to it.
Well, Victor Wembanyama just went nuclear, just went historic, just reminded us what sheer unadulterated greatness looks like in his mesmerizing Game 1 masterclass in the Western Conference Finals against his rival and historic all-time great team in their own right, the Oklahoma City Thunder. He did it in Game 1 on the road as a 6.5-point underdog in what promises to be a historic series. Just the 7th time in NBA history that two 62-win teams are squaring off. The first time since the 1998 NBA Finals, which provided its own bit of drama and history, as you might recall. Yeah, well, in that one, the GOAT took center stage, while in Game 1 of this series, nearly 30 years later, it's Victor Wembanyama as the principal subject, dropping a historic playoff performance, 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks, while playing in 49 minutes of the Spurs' double overtime thriller win against the Oklahoma City Thunder, 122-115. And while
let me stop it there, right? So Victor Wembanyama played 49 minutes, right? And I think just imagine him playing 49 minutes and, like I said, getting banged and ran into by like guys like big power forwards and stuff like that. That's the only way you're going to be able to defeat him, is to wear him down physically with somebody who's built like that, right? And when you like when Victor Wembanyama hit that 3-pointer from like 25 feet away from the basket, if they were physical with him throughout the game, he wouldn't have the legs to be able to hit a shot like that, you know. So that, and the rest of the NBA is just going to have to level up and meet this guy, you know, because he's raising the bar. He's going to dominate if the league do not adjust to him.
he did only have the second best defensive rating in the game of the 12 players to log at least 20 minutes in the contest, posting a 98 rating per 100 possessions. He had by far the best offensive rating in the game, a 140 per 100 possessions, meaning his net rating last night was plus 42. The Spurs outscored the Thunder by 42 points per 100 possessions with this freak alien on the court. It came,
and I want to see, like, Victor Wembanyama is great, right? But I want to see, like, how is he going to meet the challenge when other teams, when they raise their bar, when they adjust to him, like, what is he going to be able to do? You know, because right now, Chet Holmgren is when you watch Chet Holmgren play, he don't have an answer for Victor Wembanyama, right? So this is the Spurs' adjustment to Victor Wembanyama, like their answer to him. But now when the rest of the teams around the league come up with a answer and a solution to Victor Wembanyama, I want to see that. In my opinion, I'm a hold off on really, like, on, you know, like, oh, he's great. I want to see what happens when, like, other teams around the league start making adjustments and they start figuring this guy out, because everybody can be figured out. You know, everybody can be figured out. And so that's what I'm waiting for.
in a game where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received his second straight league MVP award on his home court as a fairly sizable favorite. And yeah, he scored just 24 points on 7 of 23 shooting and registered a game worst minus 15 while on the floor. Wembanyama became just the sixth player ever, meanwhile, to record a 40-20 game in the conference finals or later, joining a couple of guys you might have heard of: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Charles Barkley, Moses Malone, Elgin Baylor, Will Chamberlain, and Shaquille O'Neal. And that was while Wemby became the youngest player ever to accomplish the feat in the postseason. And at just 22 years and 134 days old, Wembanyama becomes one of the youngest, best players in the NBA's storied history. Yes, Magic Johnson was in his aged 20 rookie season when he won the NBA Finals MVP. And yes, Michael Jordan was already averaging 28 points per game, second best in the NBA, while just in his aged 21 rookie season. And finally, Tim Duncan in 1998-99, in just his second NBA season at the age of 22, was first-team All-NBA, first-team All-NBA defense. That was while finishing third league-wide.
All right, so my thing is, I like Wembanyama, and I just want to see when the league adjusts to him, because I've already seen, once you play him physically, right, and he got thrown out of a game when he elbowed what was it, the guy from the Timberwolves. He threw an elbow. All the big men had to go through getting played physical, you know, and because you can't allow those. Shaq got beat up, Hakeem Olajuwon got beat up, I mean, all the big guys, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they had to adjust because these guys, they started just playing them physical. And when you play them physical for 48 minutes, that is, that's a whole different game when you get played physical like that. So I'm waiting, and it's going to have to come, or like I said, because I don't see the rest of the league allowing Victor Wembanyama to dominate like this. Chet Holmgren, in my opinion, he's not big enough for to do anything with Wemby, right? In my opinion. I think they can kind of cancel each other out. If Chet Holmgren plays with heart, maybe they can kind of cancel each other out because Chet is 7'1", Victor is what 7'5". But like I said, basketball is going to go back to when you had these guys. It's going to be a more physical game, and if they don't allow you to play physical like that, then Victor Wembanyama is going to dominate at least for the next 10 years. If he can stay healthy. So that's my take on it. But in this series right here, I don't think that OKC is going to have anybody that really can combat him besides Chet Holmgren. And if Chet Holmgren don't step up to the plate, then they might even get a gentleman sweep out of this. So the way it looked that first game. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.